Hello everybody. I was getting some requests through some emails that people just wanted to see tradition. So they said, before we come down and we spend some time there, we want to take a look around and see if it's a place that we would want to come check out. So could you drive around and show us the neighborhood, show us the areas? Well, tradition's kind of a bigger place, but yeah, of course I can do that. So that's what I'm going to do today. So hang around. Hey, I'm Stephen Kimos, a local realtor here specializing in new construction in beautiful 84-degree and sunny Port St. Lucie, Florida. First thing you need to know about tradition is, the general layout of it. There is Village Parkway and there is our community. And they run north-south from all the way down to Becker, all the way up to Crosstown section. And that takes you north and south in tradition. Then east and west, you have Tradition Parkway, which takes you out to Western Grove. And you have Discovery, which takes you next to Riverland, out to Rangeline. And then you have West Cliff, which takes you down to Esplanade. And those three roads run east to west. And that's how you kind of navigate tradition. So we're going to start at the big circle. The big circle is the center of tradition. So let's head there now. So here we are entering the big circle. You stay in the right lane to make a right, and you left lane to go straight or left. A lot of people get confused at that circle, but it's really not that difficult. Now, to the right here are some retail stores. There's where I get my hair cut, and my liquor store, Chipotle, La Granja, Bagel Brothers, my breakfast place, which I go to multiple times a week, Culver's, and eventually here on the end you have past the dentist, and there's a Wawa. Now there are dentist and nail places throughout Port St. Lucie on every freaking corner, but here you see the Wawa, which is very busy. And this intersection of Village Parkway and Tradition Parkway is probably the busiest section in Tradition. We're going to make a left here, and we're going to go north up on Village Parkway, just so I can show you the retail areas of Tradition before we get into the residential parts. Now as you come up here, we're going to stop at the light here. To the left is Tradition Square, which we're going to drive through in a minute. And to the right, you have big box stores. Your Target, TJ Maxx, Michael's, Home Goods, a bunch of restaurants, and one really high-end restaurant in there, the Chicken Place, which is very, very nice. You have Nana Mama Soul Food in there, cell phone stores, everything that you would want to need right at the end of Tradition, right near 95. Further up Village Parkway, you have your tax collector's office and your DMV, a fire department, and then some more retail up here. One of them is Premier Wellness, which is owned by my neighbor, chiropractic and wellness services in there. They do a good job. Some storage, which you are starting to find everywhere in every suburban area in the United States. A vet, a golf cart repair and showroom, a bike shop, and the little gym. Now there are some rental areas in Tradition. There's maybe 4 or 5 large apartment complexes and some rental townhouse communities. There was a complaint that in Tradition there wasn't enough places for people to rent. So, they listened to what the public had to say, and they put in some rental units. Over here to the right, you have your entrance into Tradition Square, which is the heart of Tradition, where a lot of things happen. You have your Panera and your Publix, but we're going to enter it through the side entrance off of the big circle, off of Tradition Parkway. Here, as we come back to Village Parkway and Tradition Parkway, there's our Wawa again, our super busy Wawa. Sometimes I actually go up to the Circle K, which is the north end of Tradition, to avoid the busyness at the Wawa. But now we're going to head west and then slightly north back to the big circle. The big circle is where you kind of get your bearings and you know where you are in tradition. And then we're going to head up north and turn into Tradition Square, so you can kind of gauge what Tradition Square has to offer. Now this is Community Boulevard. Now Community goes all the way up to a road called West Cliff, which connects you to either Crosstown Parkway on your right or down to Esplanade on your left. We're about to turn here into Tradition Square. To the right you have some open space here, which will eventually become retail, bars, and restaurants. Now they use it for parking for big events. To the right here, you have your gazebo where they hold yoga on a regular basis. And straight ahead to the left here, you have your town hall where there's public meetings and various events. And then here's a large grassy area where most people sit on the lawn and listen to music. They close off this whole section here. There's a splash fountains here, right, for kids, but they close off this whole section here for parties and festivals. Some of them quite big. Sometimes you'll get thousands of people here at one time. Now, if you continue straight here, you would go into the Publix and Tradition Square, but we're going to go left here, go around some retail establishments. There's a Thai restaurant here, a spa, a woman's health center, and then back to the town hall here. And that's Tradition Square. 4th of July gets very crowded down here. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of golf carts, people to come down and grab a beer and watch the fireworks. The neighborhood to the right here is about 20 years old. Some great resales in there. And some of the houses need some updating, but really, really nice area, all surrounding a large park in the center. Here we are to our right here. There's going to be a church and daycare on the corner here of Raleigh and Community Boulevard. Then we enter a smaller circle and we'll go into a bigger circle. Now when we get to the bigger circle, if you go right, that's where West Cliff will take you to Village and Crosstown Parkway. And Crosstown Parkway is the road you would use to take to the beach. It's, you know, a straight line, a bunch of lights, but a straight line, 10 miles right to the Route 1, and then over to Walton, right to the coast. Not real far, but due to the lights, it can take up to a half hour to get that far. Now straight ahead here, as we enter the circle, we have Vitalia. Vitalia is an over 55 community, very big, really nice amenities. Resales in there. Some of the older houses are at the point where they need some updating, some of the older resales. And then there's some houses that were built maybe 3 or 4 years ago by Taylor Morrison in there that are kind of new. Now to the right here, you have these private lots. And these lots, you can buy one at a time. And people are building, $700 to, $2 million houses on these lots to the right here. To the left, on the other side here, is a very large lake with a path to walk around that many people exercise on. But here you can kind of see one of the latest houses built in this area. There's a sign here saying, hey, if you want to build here, give us a call. And we enter the circle here at the Estates, and then we will go through a quick little loop through Esplanade. Now, Esplanade is an over 55 community that has an incredibly beautiful clubhouse. New houses, kind of Spanish style roofs, but now they're offering flat style tile roofs. A lot of things to do in there. It's a medium-sized community, much smaller than something you'd see like Riverland. And here we are at Esplanade. And that is Esplanade. As we come back west on West Cliff and we turn back on Community Boulevard, past the park, we're heading back down toward the large circle, the very center of tradition. And then we're going to head out west and see what's out that way. Now, one thing you will notice here is how clean it is. You don't even see a cup on the side of the road or any kind of trash, as our CDD money pays for people to go around and pick that up. And all this beautiful foliage that you see on the sides of the road and in the median, that's also managed by the CDD. But it is absolutely beautiful. It costs a lot to upkeep this. Now to the right, we just passed a community called the Lakes, which is a older neighborhood that has 20 years old or so, that has a lot of resales in there. It's beautiful back there. It is a place to check out if you're looking to buy a resale in tradition. And here we come back down to the circle. Now we're heading west toward the part of tradition known as Western Grove. Now on the right here you see two large paved pathways, and that's the Tradition Trail. There's over 22 miles of this trail. One side is for pedestrians and bikes, and the other side is a free shuttle that takes you all around Tradition called TIM, Tradition in Motion. And you'll see, constantly landscapers working on all this foliage, all this landscape work. One thing you'll notice throughout tradition is the abundance of circles. The town planners thought, hey, it's much better than stopping and having intersections that keeps the traffic flowing. That's right here you have an assisted living called the Brenedy, which is nice, very expensive at $5,000 to $7,000 a month for folks to live there. Now on the left here you have Tradition Renaissance Charter School, Elementary, and Tradition Prep High School. And then right beyond that, you have what a lot of people in the Tradition area are very excited about, and that's Western Grove Park, which will have its own, a BMX track that's managed by the Olympic Committee. You have multiple fields and baseball, football, walking paths. They say they're going to have a kayak trail back there. So it's a whole multi-purpose kind of area. Now to the right here you have a little community called Emery, and a community starting here that's going to be called Brenly. Now Mattamy is the master planner for all of tradition, and they are a fantastic master planner. If you look at the plans and what's going on, the way it's designed, it's wonderful. Now as a builder you need to call me and we can talk about Mattamy as a builder if you want to buy one of their houses. But as a master planner, they are out of this world. Now, as we get to the current ending here of Tradition Parkway, you have Cadence to your right, which is a Mattamy community, and Seville to your left. Now, Seville is the Mattamy's higher end offering, with houses starting a little higher than everywhere else, maybe in the low fives. This road will continue all the way out to Rangeline Road, which is the extreme far end of Tradition that you can get to. Then it's undeveloped out there, but it's getting developed. There are multiple builders going to build some communities out that way. So that's something we need to keep an eye on. Now we're heading back east on Tradition Parkway, and if we went, through the circles and, past the Wawa, then 95 would be directly to your right, and that's how you get to 95, because Tradition is right off of 95. Now there to your right, we just passed a Tim stop. Here we are back at the main circle, and we're going to head south into Southern Grove. So we're back on Community Parkway heading south. There's a side entrance here to Town Park, and to the left are rental townhomes and 2 apartment complexes coming up on your left. And then the very first Mattamy community in Tradition, which is Manderley, and that's also sold out, but there's some resales back in there. And again, if you want to talk about Mattamy homes as a builder, you need to give me a call. On the right here, you see the Tradition Trail, part of that 22-mile system that people can ride bikes and walk. Now we're at Community and Discovery Parkway, and over to the right is Riverland. Now the story of Riverland is that a farmer owned it, and when Mattamy was buying this land 20 years ago, the farmer didn't want to sell to Mattamy for some reason and ended up selling to GL Homes. And because it was sold to a private landowner, there's no CDD fee in there. So we're making a left to go back toward Village Parkway, and in the distance there you see the largest freestanding heart in the world. It's a destination. It's kind of the center of Tradition where people come and they get engaged and take pictures. There's also some retails, 2 or 3 really nice restaurants in there. A nice place to come on a Saturday afternoon. Across from it, you'll find more retail and a hotel. Over to the right here, you can see over the retail center there, the Cleveland Clinic Hospital. That whole section is known as the tech area. That is, medical and technology section, and the local government gives businesses breaks to come and set up a business in the tech center. Now we did a quick turnaround at the heart, and we're going to continue on Community Boulevard. We're on Discovery now. We're about to make a left. We're going to go past the area where Riverland has some of their amenities. Now, if you don't know a lot about Riverland, Riverland really is Disney for adults. It really is a cruise ship. They're neighborhoods inside the bigger development called the Valencias, Valencia Cave, Valencia Grove, Valencia Walk, Valencia Park, and there's going to be 2 more Valencias that are yet to be built for Riverland. And up here to the right, we're about to pass the entrance for the Paseo Greenway, which is open to the public of Port St. Lucie, which is a beautifully landscaped area where you can ride your bike and walk without any cars. And there's also a dog park here with small, medium, large areas for dogs, and the Riverland Arts and Cultural Center, where they have pottery classes, cooking classes, an outdoor gardening area. Different festivals take place there. And here we're about to pass Valencia Walk. But Riverland just opened their town center, and you can see some signs under construction here, which has its own Publix where people take their golf carts from Riverland to their own private entrance to the back of this little area. Now it's going to have a lot of retail and some space for events. Really neat idea going on here, Riverland. Now we're going to take a left here on a road that's called Open View or Marshall Parkway. And this runs us down to Del Webb, which is one of the very first over 55 communities in Port St. Lucie. Again, it's a lot like Esplanade. It's a little bit older, but the amenities are comparable to one area of Riverland, like one of the Valencias or Esplanade. Del Webb is much like those. It's really pretty in there. Pulte is the builder. People that have gone in there have had very few problems and are very happy. Very close community. People really take care of each other in there. To the left around this circle is Heron Preserve, which is an all-ages community also by Pulte. And there's some resales. It's recently built out. And to the right you can see the two community centers in there, one for concerts and arts and crafts, and the other is for the pool, the gym, pickleball, in that area. Now as you get down here to the very end, the very southern end of Southern Grove and Tradition, if you drove straight ahead through the light here, you would go into Encore, which is an over 55 rental community. Some people don't want to buy. They want to rent first for a year. They have little townhouses and more condo-like structures. They have their own movie theater, their own restaurant. It's like a little city in there. Now to the left would take you to 95 on Becker, but to the right here takes us further back west into Tradition, along the southern border of Tradition. And there's going to be some retail space and a park here to the right. And then up here to the left, after we clear Encore, is Belterra, which is a very high-end community. The homes come with pools at this point. They start in the mid to high sixes and go to well over $1 million. They're absolutely beautiful, but you have to have a certain kind of income to live in Belterra. Now this road here, it's 4 lanes. The divider takes you all the way to Range Line Road, and there's Belterra here to the left. You'll be able to get into the southern end of Riverland off of this road. It's called Becker. And then there's also Sundance, which is has Catalina Palms, which is an over 55, new over 55 area. And it's going to have 3 other neighborhoods in there that also are all ages. You can see this is a newer road in that the landscaping hasn't grown in. And you can see large open spaces. Now to build in Tradition, you have to leave a certain percentage of the open space open for wildlife and parks. So beyond that, a lot of this will be developed. Now here we are traveling back up north toward the center of Tradition on Village Parkway. Remember, community runs to my left and parallels that. Over to the right here is the industrial center, Tradition's Southern Grove. Now, mixed in with the Amazon and the FedEx and the Cheney Brothers and the various warehouses. There's a Costco warehouse back there. It's going to be residential. We're going to have some apartments and try to make it more like some of the urban, cool, hip centers in a lot of the bigger cities up north. We'll see how that pans out. To the left here is a little townhouse community being built, and what's surprising about it is that it is all wood. I would advise my real estate clients to make sure that they buy concrete block construction with triple roof tie downs and impact resistant windows and doors rather than a stick built townhouse in Florida. I don't know if that's such a good idea. Now, the entertainment district is going to encompass this whole area here. It's being built by a company that realized that Tradition Square needed some help, that there is a lot of need for restaurants, bars, retail, and they are modeling it after Disney Springs or Abacoa, which are two areas that people seem to love the design of. Now, to the left here is Stars and Stripes Park. Now, Stars and Stripes Park is a meditative park, which is not a kids park, which is designed to walk and meditate and look at the various sculptures over here to the left. Now, here we are coming back to where we started, which is Tradition Parkway and Village Parkway. We're going to make the left and head back toward the big circle and conclude our little tour here. Now, to the right here is Florida International University's Translational Science Center, and there's a lot of technology in the technology district over here, including all your medical needs. This is where I go to the hospital or I go to my doctors, all to the right here. To the left is a Starbucks and a little bit more retail before you get to the intersection with the Wawa. Now, if I were to make a right at this intersection, that would take me to 95, which is about 500 yards from the next corner. So thanks for taking a ride with me throughout Tradition. I hope you kind of got a little bit of the lay of the land. You can see how beautiful it is here, and you got to see some of the neighborhoods. I have videos on all these neighborhoods, so check them out. And if you have any questions about the real estate down here, if this is a place that might be for you, be sure to call me. My information's here on the screen and in the description below. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.